Good morning to all of you. It is my honor today to open the one before last panel of the 4th Congress Global Conference of the UMD. The topic is Macedonia and Croatia, one successful story in the Balkans. Is an idea that was born with my colleague Đingo during one stay in Croatia as participants in a roundtable Macedonia in the 20th century in organization of the Macedonian Cultural Center in Pula. During that short stay, we participated at a lot of Macedonian cultural events organized by Macedonian minority in Croatia and other communities, and we could see the excellent communication not in the eastern region only, but throughout the country, and that was an opportunity for us to identify the position of the minorities in the country in general, as well as the position of the Macedonian minority in Croatia, and to actually identify it as a very successful story. Because yesterday we talked about violation of human rights in the neighboring Greece and Bulgaria. Now our colleague Stereovski talked about the Albanian state of affairs, and Mr. Ortakovsky will talk about the state of affairs in the remaining states. I wouldn't like to talk about more on Bulgaria, Greece, Serbia, and the other neighboring countries, but immediately talk about my paper. So it's unable to identify the beginning, the start of the Macedonian and Croatian relations through history. I will try to emphasize the most significant ones. We asked in what direction will Macedonian and Croatian friendship move towards if it weren't for Josip Juraj Strossmayer that actually allowed for the printing of the Konstantin Miladinov anthology. And we would like to emphasize the communication between the Macedonian internal revolutionary organization and the Croatian party of Stjepan Radic in between the wars, which is very important in the political cooperation. Of course, when it comes to the economic sphere, we have a lot of trade exchange between the two countries. In this respect, we are also emphasizing the creation of the organization MANAPO, which was set up in Zagreb in 1936. And there are a lot of, especially in the period in between the two world wars, there are a lot of facts that support the notion that Croats were one of the greatest friends to Macedonians back then, that cooperation continued throughout the history. In particular, I would like to emphasize the Macedonian-Croatian relations in terms of creation of the Macedonian intelligence. We think that that process is very closely linked to Croatia. Education was a two-way street towards Macedonia. In Macedonia, there were a lot of professors and intelligence that had a Croatian background, and the other way around, Macedonian intellectuals that went to educate themselves in Zagreb. And of course, a lot of artists and cultural artists that actually moved to Macedonia, and those that actually fought for the Macedonian cause, which was back then punished by Yugoslavia since they worked against the Yugoslavian cause. There are several intellectuals that I wanted to mention, and those are Marian Katalinic, the first rector of the Skopje University, Stjepan Antoljak, and Lovro Matačić. A especially important segment for the exceptional relations are the studies in the Macedonian Study Department in Republic of Croatia. The bases were set out by Petar Kepeski. In that respect, the commitments by Dr. Borislav Pavlovsky that following the steps of Mr. Kepeski established the Macedonian Study Department at the University in Rijeka, and today he teaches at the Zagreb universities, where in the study 98-99 the Faculty of Philosophy initiated a 4-year studies on Macedonian language and literature. In Rijeka, in 2008-2009, there are 4-year studies that have been set up whose major subject is Macedonian language, delivered by Goran Kalogera, PhD, and Vasil Tocinovski, whereas in Nostic that function was performed by Dr. Zlatko Karamaric, the presiding Croatian ambassador in the Republic of Macedonia. According to the census of the population in 2001 in Republic of Croatia, there are 4,270 Macedonians, and here is a table that illustrates that. And according to the chart, we can see that the Macedonian minority is inhabited in the period after the Second World War, where the inter-republic migration is emphasized within the borders of SFRJ. The number of Macedonians is increased until 1991, where after the disintegration of Republic of Yugoslavia, the numbers drop. Now, in Republic of Croatia, as I already said, 4,270 Macedonians live, whereas that percentage is 0.1 in the overall population. In all the 20 territorial units called Županijas, there are Macedonians everywhere, but mostly they are situated in Zagreb. From a legal point of view, Republic of Croatia, all the minorities as well as the Macedonian minorities can be organized according to the law on associations and the law on the rights of minorities. The start of associations date from 1960s, where the Kostaracin Homeland Association was created, functioning until 1975. The Macedonian minority in Republic of Croatia organized according to the previously stated law on organization of associations and minorities. And then within that associations, there are Macedonian cultural organizations which can be seen. The Association of Macedonians in the Republic of Croatia is an apolitical and non-profit organization, meaning as an ethnic and national community. All these associations are financed through the state budget of the Republic of Croatia based on the programs for which the associations apply for and then they implement. Basically, the Croatian state annually allocates about 600,000 euros for the needs of the Macedonian citizens. Within the community or association, every year we feel the most significant, they celebrate the most significant dates of the Macedonian history. The Ilinden, the day of the Macedonian statehood, the day of the uprising of the Macedonian people against the fascism, day of the community, Costa Sale Frațin, and also the day of Macedonian film, also exhibitions, promotions, roundtables, scientific conferences, and so on. Particular success is the also organization of the summer school Macedonian language in Rogač at the island Šolta, that for the past few years is intended for the Macedonian children living in the Republic of Croatia, Albania, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Bulgaria. Also for promotion of Macedonian language and Radio KL in Split, the show Macedonian Minutes of Macedonian Language and also Macedonian Hooray on the radio in Zadar is held. With the changes of the constitution in 2010 of Republic of Croatia, all minorities, including the Macedonian, have been included in the preamble of the Constitution of Croatia. According to the constitutional law of the rights of the national minorities, applies since 2004. The national minorities of the local elections select councils and elect representatives in the units of the local and regional self-governments. Depending on the total number of the members of the national minority, based on the total population and level of municipality, city, or županija, that's a region, councils or individual representatives are selected. The councils at the local level have 15 members and regional 25. During the last elections, the Macedonian national minority of the regional level have selected a council of the Macedonian national minorities of city of Zagreb and representatives in 8 regions. Those representatives in the regions and the council of the city of Zagreb form the Macedonian coordination as a common coordinative body. In the work of this coordination, the councils of the cities Split, Rijeka and Pula and representatives of city of Osijek are included. According to the same local level, the same law, on local level, city-based, Macedonians in Croatia have selected a council and appointed a council of Macedonian national minority for the city of Split, city of Rijeka and city of Pula. The community in Macedonian of Croatia has its own journal, Makedonski Glas or Macedonian Voice, that is published since 1993. The publishing activity is quite prominent. There are a lot of translations from Macedonian authors, and Dr. Borislav Pavlovsky has significantly contributed in this respect to Macedonia. Macedonians in Croatia have also organized religious communities, and the Macedonian Orthodox Church exists in Zagreb, Rijeka, Split and Pula. And about 120 students learn Macedonian language and culture as an optional subject in 7 schools in Zagreb, Split, Rijeka, Pula, Osijek, Vukovar and Vinkovci. And with the entry of Republic of Croatia in the European Union, this optional subject will be officially promoted. Macedonian Cultural Forum has a very significant role with the promotion of the Macedonian tradition, folklore and culture, and particular contribution is provided by this organization that acts in 2 directions. The first one is through the ensemble and the singing group Despin, and the second is the traditional cultural event within which a lot of round tables and scientific gatherings have been organized in cooperation with the Institute for National History from Skopje. In 1993, in Zagreb, the Croatian Macedonian Association has been set up, whose first chairman was the academic Stjepan Antaljak. The members of the presidency of that society even today are the driving force of the community of the Macedonians in the Republic of Croatia and promotion of the Macedonian language in Croatia. The basic task of the association is to establish close cooperation by establishing progress and promotion of the joint cultural, scientific, economic and sports relation between the 2 republics. And a conclusion would be, so what is the situation with the Croatian minority in Republic of Macedonia? So, Republic of Macedonia are peaceful and cultural and ethnic country after 20 years of independence, enabling the same rights for all minorities, even though the Macedonian language is an official language. I quote, the official language is the one being spoken more than 20% of the ethnic minority. Of course, the Albanian minorities enjoy greater rights since they are the biggest minority, even though we know that the other 6 ethnic minorities celebrate their own religious and cultural holidays. In Macedonia, 2,686 Croats live in Republic of Macedonia. The Croatian minority is not a part of the preamble of the Macedonian constitution. In 1993, in Skopje, there is the Macedonian Croatian Association with branches in Bitola, Kičevo, Ohrid and Štip, and within the association in 1996, the Association of Croats in Macedonia has been established, financed by membership fee and other Croatian entrepreneurship associations in Republic of Macedonia. Macedonia and Croatia are respected everywhere. Their culture, tradition, and folklore incite a sincere dosage of friendship. There is a state of affairs where there are idyllic moments that are rarity to the Balkan Peninsula almost everywhere. Because everywhere in the history, Macedonians have been the role of denied minority. Thank you. If there are any questions, Sam?
Yes. University of East Anglia in the United Kingdom. Sorry, my grasp of the Macedonian language is not particularly great, so I'll have to speak in English. Just a quick query. You meant just 2 points of clarification. You mentioned the relations between the IMRO and the Stjepan Radic's Croatian Peasant Party during the interwar period. Could you elaborate on the relationship between Macedonian organizations and the wartime so-called independent state of Croatia? And also, I was interested to notice in the table you presented that despite the apparently good relationship, the good status enjoyed by the Macedonian minority in Croatia, why the population between 1991 and 2001 appears to have dropped. The population of Macedonians has dropped quite significantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. The first question?
The first question in relation to the cooperation between the management of VMRO and Stjepan Radic Peasant Party. That's a project behind which a Soviet Russian stands. The Soviet Russian creates a policy of creation of a federation that will be under the auspices of the Soviet Union and collects all the dissatisfied elements from the Balkan. Here are the representatives of VMRO, Stjepan Radic is here, Fanol is here, so Albanians from Kosovo and so on. So those that are dissatisfied with the back then political map in the Balkan Peninsula, and that is why the background of the cooperation between the Internal Revolution Organization and the Peasant Party is that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Actually, that's the deal. That cooperation after the assassination of Stjepan Radic will continue when Vlatko Maček will become at the head of that party, but also will continue with another organization, and that will be with Ustaš band, and that is motivated by the same reason. So the common enemy and maybe a struggle to unite forces. When it comes to the second question in regards to the drop of the population, Republic of Croatia initially, I can identify two factors. Firstly, mixed marriages, where the second generations of the offspring will be with Croats, with nationality and citizenship. So maybe that is how the link is lost with Macedonia, even though they are quite close as countries. And in Croatia, there are a lot of Albanians that originate from Macedonia that work and live there, but they are organized in associations of Albanians from Macedonia in Croatia. Another question? Briefly, Dr. Siniša Naumovsky. I come from finance and marketing. I'm not a part of the professionals here. So, Republic of Croatia on the 1st of July became the EU member state and lives the dream that we are attempting to one day. So I was inspired to ask a question. A country that I respect highly, I hold it in regard, and even though we were quite close, I just wanted to ask, what do you think, what is the one that actually brought Croatia to become a member state? And just, I would like to convey just one, mention one anecdote, being in Poland. So Poland is an EU member state, is an open market for Croatia, because I could see walking down the streets of Poland, Croatian products and so on. So did they have to make certain political compromises in order for Croatia today to become a EU member state just before us? So what was it a political decision or political compromises? My personal view of why they entered before us is just due to the EU decision making and their expansion policies, to the extent that some things depend on the state itself. On the other hand, that's a EU political and economic decision making. If we see if we could go backwards in the past 10 or 15 years and see how expansions are made to the European Union, we know that when we see Bulgaria and Romania, even though they weren't ready to get into the EU family, that was a political decision for them to be accepted into the EU. So, of course, Croatia had to meet the benchmarks, that she had to make compromises, yes, of course. And maybe we should follow their example of making certain compromises when it comes to the political and economic sphere. But I don't see that, yes, the success is on the Republic of Croatia, but primarily that's an EU decision. Unfortunately, we are not on their priority agenda, the EU priority agenda, to become an EU member state. So, another question? No? Okay, thank you.